This show brought to you by Ricmotech. Are you considering a Thrustmaster product? If so, you should consider Ricmotech. They are an authorized Thrustmaster dealer. They take support to the next level and offer optional firmware updates, product testing, and support, all free of charge, and will ship worldwide. Check them out at ricmotech.com. John and Darren's office chairs provided by GT Omega Racing. You can check them out at gtomegaracing.com.
Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing, January 18th, 2017 edition. I'm John Sable, and to my left, right, I don't know, is the ever-rotating chair number 2 with, is it Bob?
Yeah, right. Mark.
Mark?
Mark. We'll go with Mark this week.
That's your, okay, whatever his name is.
Incognito.
Exactly. Of course, that's Billy Strange, and yes, we are underway now. We got 5 minutes before the show, got the dreaded high CPU usage message in XSplit, which means got to restart the PC.
Yes.
So now we're at 46% CPU, so I don't know. Windows 10.
You could have wrote it out, you know. I mean, it doesn't ever work, but you could have tried it.
Yeah, that's when we get all those part 2 shows. So
yes.
Someone said at a hot mic, or someone at a hot mic, so let us know if that's an issue. Normally we start out loud, and then we get all quiet. Consistency.
Sure. I'll just whisper.
There you go. So this week's show, we got the usual news happenings. No poll question because I couldn't think of one. But we go over last week's poll question, which was a good one. And then we'll get into some Q&A, and we'll do that all within an hour and a half, because then we're going to go and do a fun race on iRacing later, and we'll have details on that. If you're with us last week, it's all the same information from last week. So we're going to do it again. It worked out well.
But maybe there are people that weren't here last week.
But maybe the people who weren't here last week. So when we get to them there, we will share all the information you need to know to come join us and race. Had a good race last week besides me spinning like 3 times.
Ooh.
I know. I think I got the brakes dialed in a little better.
Just working on warming up the tires.
That's what it is. We'll talk about it later, but yeah, that car is it takes a little bit for me to get back into it. But okay, so with that, let's go ahead and roll on with the news. And Billy, how about you talk about the first topic we got?
Yeah, RaceRoom. It's always good when RaceRoom puts out previews of new stuff, and they've got a preview of Mantorp Park, which is a permanent road course located near Mantorp. Pretty self-explanatory. Let's see, hosted the Scandinavian Touring Car Championship and Swedish Formula 3 Championships. Looks like a cool track. New tracks are always good.
Yes, and I mean, something that, comes up not every once in a while, more consistently now, but like, look at these screenshots. I mean, they look fantastic. I really do think RaceRoom has a very good thing going on with the graphics. Said that for a while. The color palette just looks so good. But yeah. I was really pulling these images up earlier. It's like, damn, this looks real good.
It's impressive. And Chad can correct me, but I just started playing, GT Legends last year, and I thought that this was in there. I could be mistaken, though. I could be thinking of something else. But I thought it might have been in there.
Yeah, I wasn't. I never heard of it before, but I do also like in these shots and only track, we're seeing teasers of the 2016 WTCC pack, which is a pretty nice looking Volvo. Which
right,
I'm excited to see that, because the Volvo, I like driving that pack, and the Volvo is going to become my go-to car. That's a pretty good looking one.
Yep, I agree.
So, yep, more tracks are good. No timetable was given, correct?
No. This is the second track that they've given a preview of, but no timetable to.
Yeah. So, cool. It's always, like you said, it's always cool to see unique tracks, and that is one thing that RaceRoom, they do have a lot of tracks that are in a lot of other titles, but there are a handful that are very much, almost regional. that a lot of other sims don't cover.
Yeah, it's, if we all had the same in every single one, it'd be kind of boring. So I look forward to turning some laps.
There we go. So next up, we are talking Dirt Rally. And even though Dirt Rally's been out on the PC now for over a year and on the console since the spring, it is now coming with a PSVR update. So here's a little video that was released last week. And as you see, it doesn't look too bad. My one short test with PlayStation VR, it wasn't too bad looking. This doesn't look too shabby. So that is very cool. I will say one thing that it kind of mentioned it here at the very ending, and it was still kind of confusing. I had to do some more research today. Is if you already own the PlayStation version, obviously, of Dirt Rally, then this is a $20 DLC to get the VR PSVR compatible. And it does allow you to play everything. It's no like Gran Turismo Sports saying how it's only going to be like part of the game is going to be PSVR compatible. This is going to be all the cars, all the tracks, all that stuff. But it is a $20 DLC. Like I said, I had to go look for that. You said, oh, because it's like, yeah, originally I thought I was like, oh, they're just coming out with this. But
that's interesting.
And then at the end it says something like you can buy like the original game plus the PSVR, and then it said at certain retailers. So yeah, there's some strings attached to this, but it isn't a free update. It doesn't sound like.
Well, and then I heard about this yesterday, but it's in the description here. The second player, 2-player, will take on the role of a co-driver.
Yeah,
now that's pretty cool. Jeez.
That's
yes. I'm fired. Yeah, that's a really interesting mechanic, and I don't think that's available on the PC.
No, it isn't, and it'll be. I read that and I went, oh, that's kind of neat. But then I'm like, I'm wondering how many co-pilots gonna get fired because not doing. Because I'm kind of like, overall, the co-pilot's pretty good in Dirt Rally. Normally doesn't leave you out to hang. So, but that is interesting. They say if you use the PS4 controller and using the controller, and then I guess the touchpad that's on the controller, you can then I give out commands. I think it's more a timing thing. I wonder if the actual in-game co-drivers can actually verbally.
Yeah, I don't think you're actually talking to them, which would be even more interesting. But I think it's probably like a Guitar Hero kind of thing where it gives the call and you've got to hit the button at the right moment or prompt or whatever.
Yeah. So I wonder. I guess. So is that going to be online 2-player, or is that just like someone sitting right next to you?
Well, I'm not sure because it doesn't really say. At first, I thought it was going to be an online deal, and then I read that you're using the DualShock Force. So then I'm like, well, then does it really have to be online, or maybe it's both? It doesn't really say, at least that I can see.
If it's the person next to you, it just becomes like it always is with the person going, no, turn left, turn right, slow down.
Yep, backseat driver.
That's right.
You're not gonna make it.
So yeah, that is Dirt Rally on the PSVR. That is coming out in a matter of weeks, I think was the language that was used. So that's coming up soon. Like I said, $20 DLC. That kind of sucks for a $60 game. But I mean, it could be worse. The Drive Club VR was a whole literally separate game you had to go purchase.
Yes,
that was like $40 if I remember correctly.
Again, it's on one hand it's odd because for those that have already purchased the game, like it's not added in, but on the other hand, it did cost resources to produce it. So I'm kind of in the middle. I understand charging for it, but at the same time, man, I already own the game. Like I already supported you before it came out. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh man, I saw a comment from Sexy Girls TV, and then I got.
I missed it, son of a.
I'm sure it's only Sexy Girls
right
on TV on YouTube. That's funny.
Yo, stop it.
Hey. Okay. Next up, there's something new coming to Euro Truck Simulator 2.
Yeah, you've got what's they paid a visit to. I'm gonna mess this up. Scania. How do you say that?
It's as good a guess I have. That is not a brand that we have here in the States.
No, but they went to the manufacturing plant in Sweden, And there's some, yeah, you can see their little reference lines that they're putting on there.
I found this very neat because this was actually a video released by that Scania, brand, and I didn't realize that these guys at SCS went to this level of laser scanning.
Yeah, I had no idea.
But I mean, it doesn't. I mean, seeing the computer image there, it looks like it does the job. So that was really cool to see.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so this will be coming to Euro Truck Simulator to its, what was the time frame given? I think that's what it was. Like, they said release dates and such are not set in stone for the new model. SCS also alludes to some 99% completed trucks for both titles. And
it says around summer of 2017, hopefully.
Yeah, it sounds almost like more of a licensing thing, maybe.
I just started playing ATS.
How's that going for you?
I like it. I like it a lot, actually. That's kind of funny. I'm like, everybody rants and raves about this, and Darren was talking about. I'm like, it was on sale for the during the winter Steam sale, and I'm like, I gotta try it. I actually like it.
You know, while getting the show together today, and watching that clip and everything, I was kind of like, damn it, I want to get back to playing, but haven't played since it came out, and it's just like we gotta I don't know. Maybe we got another project we'll talk about later. Well, not this week, but anyway, I want to sometime just kind of talk about American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator, and just they're like the biggest sims out there. Like it just blows my mind.
it's pretty remarkable. Like the player base that they have, and I mean it's almost like when I was playing it real quick. It just reminds me of like a puzzle. Like I get from point A to point B, and it's a little bit of a strategy thing. And then I picked the hardest thing. I used to drive truck, but I never tried to back into spots like that. But yeah, it's like a puzzle.
And I think it has nice playability because unlike Sims that can be kind of golf-like, where it's very hard, but if you do it, it's very rewarding. So sometimes you just gotta kind of like in golf, grind it out. I feel like that game, even though, as you saw maybe in the video that I was in, parking's difficult, at least for me.
I wasn't going to say anything.
But I feel like the overall frustration level isn't too high. Like you're kind of driving, it's relaxing. I said parking can be challenging, but I don't know.
I mean, you get frustrated enough, you can hit the button and just say, what the hell with it, park the thing.
That too, exactly. So I feel like it's the right level where you don't get too frustrated and go, I'm not playing this again.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, we'll have to talk about that sometime because the sheer numbers of people that play it is just outrageous. But yeah, so that is an update to Euro Truck Simulator 2. We haven't heard anything about that since it's been All American Truck Simulator here recently, but it's cool to see that getting some love. we need a golf cart simulator.
Oh, jeez, that's exactly what we need.
There should be a golf cart game where you're just shenanigans on the golf course. Because that's what you're supposed to do with golf carts.
I'm sure somebody's made it.
Probably. Moving on, and this isn't a typical news story, but something I caught was it last week or earlier this week that I thought was fascinating. Last week on the 13th, and this was a message from Tony Gardner of iRacing saying that they're now having to include VAT, value added tax, when in your purchases on iRace, and it goes on. I thought it was a really nice letter, and part of the reason why I put it up here and want to talk about it because there's a lot of feedback. People are like, this sucks, but if you read this, I'm not going to read it out loud. Sorry, podcast listeners. But I mean, essentially it's saying that VAT is now expanding to more countries, Russia, New Zealand, Belarus, and that for years they've always absorbed that cost despite passing along state sales tax here in the United States onto the customers, which I have experienced that living in 5 different states. But now they just can't handle it anymore, and they they just have to charge, especially with the larger worldwide user base. So, kind of what I wanted to bring up, it's I'm not. I don't know. Maybe Chad can chime in here, but I was kind of. And also, clearly I've only been on the internet for 5 minutes because, like I said, I read it and I went, I understand that. I mean, it makes perfect sense. But some people were like, oh no. So I don't know. I just thought that's a pretty fair thing. It was kind of ridiculous for people to freak out about it.
When something changes everybody's going to have an opinion.
What? On the internet?
Right?
Are
On
you
the
sure?
internet. Never. You know, as a business owner myself, I am having a hell of a time talking today. We used to absorb some of the costs because we wanted people to have fun, and I imagine it's the same thing there. You don't want people to feel like you're constantly, you know, nickel and diming them for everything, but you get to a point where the return and then the increasing costs, you just go, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to have to do blank. You know, I used to give away little dash plaques and stuff all the time, and then, you know, rent keeps going up, and I wouldn't charge anybody for it. You know, we just did that out of pocket, and pretty soon it's like, I can't do it anymore. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and Venja here said, being down in New Zealand, said it made his 15% more expensive. And I saw some people were saying it was 25.
Ouch, that hurts.
Which I was surprised that much. Like that was really surprising. But yeah, I mean, you know, when you do international business, especially on the software side, I mean, some places of the world you want to sell more copies than others, because of, you know, exchange rates or whatever. You know, you're gonna take your taxes. You're gonna take more of an impact, you know, in some places more than others. And yeah, I mean, obviously, iRacing for a long time was like, okay, we'll absorb it. But now, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if there's anyone to blame, it's blamed this VAT. I mean, this VAT thing is obnoxious. Like, it really is crazy. You know, we heard this with Fnatic about coming up on 2 years ago now, when they had increased price because of VAT. I mean, that is high.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, unlike the Fnatic stuff, when they come out with a new product, then you don't really know what that is, right? It's that cost is being set from the begin with, where, you know, if you're paying for yearly memberships, you're used to prices of new cars being a certain level for so long, and then all of a sudden, boom, it can be a shock to the system, and I can understand that. It's, you know, you were used to paying X amount of dollars for a yearly membership, and all of a sudden, holy, you know, 15 to 25% more. That's a big increase.
Yeah. No, it is. So I do understand that side. You know, I do understand. Yeah, like I was surprised. You know, Reddit, and then saw the forums, and I was seeing those percentages. Like, oh, that wasn't quite what I thought it would be. But
yeah, quite honestly, I had no idea it was that high.
Yeah. So I mean, it sucks, but I just, like I said, I don't know what iRacing and I mean first, like I said, it was Fnatic a couple years ago. iRacing now, I'm sure there'll be other companies. I don't really know what you can do. I mean, like people are saying there in the chat, it's just that VAT tax, that's brutal.
In the Peter's asking, what's the VAT percentage in the U.S.? We don't have that.
No. Cause VAT is VAT all on imported stuff?
I don't know how that works. I just know that when, like, for my store for the slot car stuff, everything comes out of Europe.
Yeah.
And we don't pay VAT.
Yeah. No, don't worry, we still get our taxes.
Oh yeah, no, we got taxes. We just don't have VAT.
What's even great is where I live, we have something called a local tax, which is a fancy way of throwing on another tax on top of state and federal and all that stuff.
We have the same thing.
So I like, if you look at a map, there's a color map of the U.S. showing like different colors for different tax tax levels. Like, I'm on one of the dark spots of like one of the highest taxed areas. So it's like,
yeah, our local tax is another 8.5%.
Yeah, I think ours just went up to 8. Yeah, it sucks, and people voted for it. I voted against it.
Oh yeah, no, people voted. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. On to Assetto Corsa.
Good transition.
Let's not go there.
Okay, roll into it, Billy. This one's for you.
So Assetto Corsa, let's see, they have an RSR Formula 3 mod update from it. What is their name? SR? No, that's the championship.
RSR.
RSR. It is RSR.
Do you know,
okay.
you know the show notes up?
I do.
Man,
I glossed over RSR.
Okay.
So they just they're touting improved force feedback. They've tuned up the tires, fixed excessive speed in certain conditions, and they have a new championship. Let's see. So they're using, it looks like, the SRS system, if I'm reading that correctly.
I believe so.
Championship starts on the 25th of January and ends on the 25th of February.
Yep, and right now I got the calendar. So pretty much just a version 3.1 update to the car, and then they got the championship launch they wanted to promote. And I will say, these RSR guys do a real good job of reaching out to us with emails, so that's part of the reason why we talk about them. So for all you guys who are modding cars out there, emails are a good way to get in contact. But yeah, so if you're looking for a series in Assetto Corsa, there is the schedule.
I drove the previous version. I like it. I haven't tried this one yet, but I drove the previous version to this one, and it works pretty well.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I mean, Mark's also talked a lot, pretty glowingly about it. I haven't had a chance to try it out, but
okay.
It does seem like one of the more mature mods, and now setting up kind of a little league there. So that's good to see, because that's organization on something like a game, like a title like Assetto Corsa, where, unlike what we were talking about iRacing earlier with everything online being organized, there instead of course a little more legwork. You gotta get everything organized yourselves. So good to see.
Yep.
So let's see. Next up is a story that came out this morning. If I find it, I don't have it. Okay, watch this. We're gonna.
So
cheat.
close.
Don't worry, I got this. Because I got a link here to our website. So this is how we poor man's deliver you the news. So announced today was a new version of the Thrustmaster T150 and TMX. Of course, right after I got done with buyer's guides for both the PlayStation and the Xbox One. So that was lovely to see, and I'm gonna have to add an annotation to this link to show people. But this is the T150 Pro and TMX Pro. I think the technical, I thought it was like Pro LE. Maybe it's just Pro. I don't know. I hope it's just Pro, because LE kind of sounded a little goofy. But anyway, it pairs the T150 and TMX bases with the Thrustmaster T3 PA pedals, which we've been saying for a long time is a much better way to go than just the two-pedal set that comes from Thrustmaster, because that two-pedal set isn't too great. So yeah, they have done that, and not only have they done that, but normally if you buy those separately, that costs $300. Now it only costs $250 in a bundle. So you get to save $50, and that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, good. Another good entry point.
Yeah, so no, that's cool. See, like I said, I would have loved to have that for that buyer's guide, because I recommended doing that, buying them separately for $300. Even though I realize $200 kind of good entry level price point. $300 you're kind of like you're drifting. So I was like, okay, if you can swing it, but $250 this is now I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, especially for the quality of the stuff that you're getting.
Yes, exactly. So that is clearly Thrustmaster. Thanks for watching the show.
They listen to you. They listen to you.
Yes, that's all I ever wanted.
Yes.
And then last up, we have another news story talking about some new VR headsets.
Which I didn't get a chance to see this at all. That's interesting.
Oh, okay, I'll take it.
I'm like looking at it, and then you put the image up. I'm like, whoa, what is that?
So this Mark posted actually a couple VR posts up on the website today, and this is kind of spanning from CES from now coming upon a couple weeks ago, and this is the Dodo V1. I guess the L is silent. I don't know, that's like dodo bird, but this is out of China, so there's your grain of salt alert. But why Mark wrote the story, because one of the media members from a good source that I can't find right now said that he tried it and that these actually weren't too bad. And for those of you who are listening to the podcast version of this, they look like sunglasses, but they're a VR headset, like almost like thick framed fronts.
Yeah, they almost look like welding goggles, like on the sides, because it's trying to keep the light from bleeding in. So they almost look like welding goggles on the side.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, but anyway, the guy tried them out and actually said like, this is like not that far off or kind of in the range of the HTC Vive and Oculus Rift, which is kind of crazy. I'm trying to figure out cable-wise how it connects. They said they were running in Steam VR. Some specs here: 2400 by 1200 resolution, 90 hertz refresh rate, 105 degrees field of view, 60 millimeters thick, 88 gram weight. The interesting, I think, I looked at that and I'm like, okay, so they make it out of carbon fiber to keep it light, which, okay, you're saving very little on something that size, but whatever, it looks cool. But those lenses and stuff have to have a lot of weight. I'm like, are these like falling off your face? That's what I wonder. You need like a strap and back. That's what I feel like that would work well.
The one thing for those that have sunglasses, can you swap out the lenses like you do in the Oculus, or no?
Well, you can't swap out the lenses in the Oculus.
Well,
I put the adapter over top.
Well,
of
that's
lenses.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
No, I don't think you could. So people are asking price. Fake news. Yeah, I mean, let's. I agree. I agree to some degree. Like at first I saw this and I was kind of like, oh really? Like this? Like I don't know. Especially coming out of China. But I will say, someone who is in the media and used to VR and tries it out, and it's like, this isn't too bad. Maybe at the very least, who knows, this is going to happen. I think they're wanting to release it later this year, no price. So it might be vaporware. But at the very least, this might be a sign of where the technology is going and what future headsets will look like from like your Oculus and your HTC of the world. Which, if they can get smaller and maybe figure out something a little better. Again, I don't know how that doesn't have any cords coming from it. But if things like that can get figured out, maybe that's a sign of things to come. Before they just beam this all in our brains.
Well, it doesn't. Does it actually say it's wireless though?
I don't think it is. It doesn't say it's wireless, and the images don't have wires going to it. So I have no idea.
I would say that's just the image of. Yeah, I'm not seeing anywhere on here where it says wireless, so I'm just assuming that's some sort of prototype image without the cables. Otherwise, you'd think they would, because I know at CES they were talking about wireless solutions for like Vive and stuff like that.
Well, that was the rumor going into it. That was like, there was a fake rumor that they were going to come out with, unveil like the Vive 2 and it'd be wireless. And
yeah, well, it never happened, but they were whatevers.
I mean, wireless would be ideal from a use standpoint, in terms of being able to move around and stuff like that. The question just becomes, can you keep up, like always latency and all that stuff. So, I
would say it's not wireless, because otherwise I would think I think would be the first ones to announce it if they were. So I would think that'd be a big PR deal.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. So, I mean, it's the DloDlo. What's his name again? The DloDlo V1. Again, I think a grain of salt, but I do think it is interesting because if they're able to get somewhat today's standard performance and something of that form factor, maybe that could be a sign of things to come. Yeah,
indeed.
That's how you stick that landing.
That's right.
So that does it for the news, and done in 30 minutes. We're doing well.
Look at you.
Actually, we started late, so even quicker.
Oh. See?
Yeah. So on to happenings, and this weekend, we, as in Inside Sim Racing, and really only me officially, are running in the iRacing 24 Hours of Daytona. I was going to show a trailer for it, but they didn't come out with a trailer this year. So, but anyway, we got two teams going. And I'm partially putting this announcement out because we've had so much with Darren breaking his leg, and we had one of the guys had to pull out yesterday because work and family and stuff like that. We've kind of had a scramble here at the last minute, And there was emails going around earlier, and I don't think people saw all the replies. So, ISR TV team, we got Team 1, got me, Scott Holmes, John Olmers jumped on. I saw John's in chat, which is awesome. And Billy Smith the second. And then Team 2, that's been much more organized. Jack Sternquist, Tom Foose, Atanas Dimitrov, hopefully I pronounced that right, and Julian Orozco. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Orozco.
Yeah, maybe. See, you can roll your R's. So those are the teams that we are trying our best to go out and finish all 24 hours this weekend on iRacing.
You got this. This time you will make it.
That's right. We didn't make it last year. We almost
versus did. Le Mans. Well, you finished last year, but
yeah.
Le Mans didn't work out so well.
No, we did not. We did not finish Le Mans. That was an epic fail, not on our part. So no, John, you're racing with me on Team 1. That's what we're doing. You can't. Yeah, we can't. You can only race on one team. They got that set up on iRacing. So, yep, that's what we're doing. And speaking of which, as part of practicing for that, we are doing a fun race here in a little under an hour. And here is the info on the hosted session. So at 5:30 p.m., we will start a hosted session on iRacing. That's 10:30 GMT. And again, like last week, ISR TV Daytona 24 fun race. Password ISR TV Daytona 24. 30-minute practice, 10-minute qualifying, 40-minute race. That seemed to work out pretty well. C7 and the GT3 cars. So, yes, come and join us in about an hour over there. Like I said, had a decent little race last week besides me spinning out.
Dope.
I've gone and today I pulled off. I still have the damper kit on the V3 Fanatic V3 pedals that I had on there because it was the last thing that I did when I was reviewing the Lastimer springs. So, and at the end I was like, I don't like this, but I still had it on there. So I pulled it off the rig, pulled the damper kit off. So now I'm a little more in a setup that I want to be.
Yeah.
And besides, I got like all day tomorrow to practice.
Yeah. You should be. That should be all the practice you need. You don't need that much practice, John.
I need so much practice.
I jumped in. I was talking to John earlier. I hadn't set up iRacing yet since I had my computer issues. So got it all set up, get all my controls set up, and I go, I've never driven this car before. Oh man, I am slow. It's such an awkward feeling car.
Yes, it is. It is odd. 1 second, I gotta.
Oh,
okay, I'm back.
Look out! Careful.
Okay.
I only put like 15 or 20 minutes into it, and my times were not good. But
yes,
it's an awkward feeling trying to get used to the limit of grip it has.
It is. It's a fast car, but you do not attack corners. You gotta brake early, and you can't go too hard. It's easy to lock up, and once you start locking up the tires, it makes for a long stint. So, yes, that is my goal, to stop locking up tires.
Yeah, it's not easy either. I had to actually play with the brake setting because a couple of the inner loop, the hairpin, I just going in. I'm like, stop.
Yeah. Oh, and also something else I got to do. I was in a session earlier, and I got to turn my graphics way down. Daytona night, bunch of cars in that car. It just kills frame rate, so I got to adjust that.
Oh.
All sorts of stuff. And it probably doesn't help. I might have to redo my graphics settings because earlier I was jumping between different builds of iRacing, checking out stuff.
Okay.
Even though I wasn't able to drive yet because I didn't have it all downloaded. Moving on. So that'll be news and hopefully hashtag soon.
Right.
So Billy, you have a test drive of the Automobilista Formula truck coming out tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, finally got around to that. Tried the dirt one too. Didn't really care for it all that much. It was okay. but I really like the truck, so that I got that dialed in. Pretty decent race, and so that should be all right to watch. Hopefully, cross my fingers.
It was a big enough file, so I assume it was a good race.
I decided to render a little higher.
Ah, nice.
So seeing if I could. I recorded in a little higher rate. I usually record around, I think it was 35 or 40, and I did 50 this time. And then I usually render at 20, and I rendered at 25. So
okay,
see if that makes any difference.
Yeah, we'll see. I started recently. Some people, a video put out yesterday, which got a lot of positive feedback on the Sim Racing Explained wheel and pedal resolution, and got comments on it. It looks nice, and that video and a few others, I started recently rendering that at like 40 to 50 bit rates, 40 to 50 million, whatever it is. So, but I got to go back and like watch. Normally I do it at 25, so I got to look and see if I can see a difference between 25 and 50. Because once YouTube gets a hold of it and
because
strangles it. Yeah,
they recommend you don't do any more than like 15 when you render.
Oh. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I watched some channels that look really damn good, and they're rendering it higher than 15. So.
Well, and what the problem is the type of video it is. So. Yep.
Okay, and then lastly, I don't think I got this to the. I don't think I got this up on the YouTube description, but someone yesterday on Facebook, I put up that video, asked, John, have you forgotten about the CSL versus TSPC video? No. So my note here on our notes is, no, John hasn't forgotten about the video.
Hashtag soon.
Hashtag soon. Yes, that's a hashtag soon. Let me try to run one race this weekend, and then I'll get back to the grind, making videos.
Put a pin in that.
Yes. So, okay. So that does it for happenings. And next, going to talk about last week's poll results, which are here. And the question was, your opinion on the Vegas eRace. We had that long discussion about the Vegas eRace. And here's the results. Only 157 votes, which is awful, by the way, guys. Normally get like 300, so slacking. But pretty split between 46% of you saying it was okay but needs work, and 40% of you saying it was an embarrassment to sim racing. So that's not too good.
Okay.
6% good, 5% bad, 1% really good. So a couple people really enjoyed it.
Well, it also depends on what side of the fence you're on. How into sim racing you are, and what you consider to be what defines sim racing for you. I think that's a big key, because I think some of the people that they found the potential in what was there rather than what happened. So I can understand how that someone wouldn't be so down on it. And then the embarrassment one, though, I can get that one too. It was frustrating, I think, is where I'm at.
Yes. By the way, watching chat, not listening to you, Billy.
Nobody needs to listen to me anyway.
Rotating second chair. RTA Motorsports, I appreciate you saying. He says, I watched the show on TV and I can see a difference. So that's good to know.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, that's, like I said, I haven't really, I've been doing it here and there. I pretty much, I do it when I can, but it takes like, on normal videos, it takes like 3 hours to render, and it takes like 2-3 hours to upload to YouTube. So if sometimes I'm really trying to like get it out before people like go to sleep, like over in Europe, where it's getting late this time of day. So sometimes I can't wait. But if I have time, and also that video yesterday was like 2 minutes and 45 seconds, so that was a good one.
Yeah. I opened it up, I was like, oh, this one's quick.
Yep. So, okay. So that does it for that stuff. I don't know. We are on to Q&A. Record time, Billy.
Good job.
We did it. 45 minutes. Okay, so yeah, moving on to Q&A, and again, Q&A like last couple weeks is brought to you by ProSimU. They make motion simulators, and check them out at ProSimU.com. They have a special offer going on right now that if you purchase a T1000 2 motion or 3 motion, that you can get free shipping to the US or Europe and a free ProSimU carpet, which those carpet pads come in handy if you actually are on hardwoods like I am here. And then if you want to go and check them out, you can always go to our website, check out this banner. I will say, website, looking good right now. And then, unlike past weeks where that hasn't worked, I already pulled up the ProSimU website, takes you here. You can take a look at their different simulators. We did it.
We did it. Excellent. I'm grabbing some Q&A as you're rolling through that.
Okay. How about I start with the questions and you keep grabbing some?
Sure.
Okay, we'll do that. First up, Spatial Dragon. Hey, Tim. Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator multiplayer have short-range CB radio. How does that work? It is line of sight, not server-wide, no external apps. I don't know. I haven't played it that much. Like I said, I unfortunately haven't played American Truck Simulator since I was out at Darren's place, coming on a year, probably in the springtime that came out, about this time last year. But so yeah, I haven't
tried multiplayer yet, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, so not sure about that one, but something we should probably find out sometime.
Yeah.
Or
I'd love to run you off the road in ATS.
That'd be fun, actually. I'm just trying to get through January. I'm like, gotta get to February and then have more time to do some other things. Like doing yesterday's video was partly doing that. Was it took like 5 hours to do, and that's magic because most videos I do take like 25 hours.
Yes. Let's see. Facer, favorite road track?
Bathurst.
Ooh, that's a good one. Crap. I don't know. I've got so many. I like the old version of Imola without all the frickin' bus stop chicane things in it.
So back when it was an oval. I mean, it had like 4 turns, I guess.
Not Monza.
Oh, okay.
No, Imola.
I take it all back.
Yeah, no,
Take it back.
I think that track had some character. Also, like the old school Osterreich ring, which is now the Red Bull ring. Whenever because they cut all that out. There's rumors that they're going to add some of that back in.
I heard, which would be
really cool.
Interesting.
Watching some of the old F1 videos from the late '70s, that looks really cool. Gosh, I like Bathurst. I like Watkins Glen before all the slow me down bus stop in the back.
I think the bus stop makes for better racing. It's one of the few times where like a bus stop or chicane makes for better racing. I mean, it's cool to go barreling off into that corner, which is nuts that they did that. I was listening to a podcast the other day where Tommy Kendall was saying one of the cars was like back in the 90s was like going like over 200 miles an hour down into that corner, and it's like but yeah, I think it makes for more passing opportunities. But my opinion.
It's there's more passing opportunities if you don't make the corner. If you don't have the balls to go all the way in, so I mean,
there is that definitely was ballsy. Eric Keibel, any word on proper triple screen support in RaceRoom Project Cars? Project Cars, since they said Project Cars 2 should be coming out. Well, they've kind of given a tentative. I'm gonna say tentative because things always move. September of this year was a date that was given out a couple weeks ago, I believe. And then RaceRoom, I don't know. They said like maybe, but we know Vive support's coming first. So, and by the way, if you're hearing weird sounds, it's because I've had the dog with me the whole time. This is Indy. She's gotten a little bigger since the last time I've had her on the show, but she's been sleeping in my lap and now she's stretching.
And she's eyeballing that microphone.
That's right. Breathe into the microphone. Which also I had to do it because Jack said he gave $10 last week, and he's like now I want to see Indy. So.
Well, there you go.
I can be bought.
It's
see what I'll do. See what I'll do for 20.
Click here. Oh.
Mine's in the gutters. What's next?
Oh. I don't know how to say that name. But anyway. What was that?
That's why
I got it. Thanks. I'm just going to say they watched the Xbox Buyer's Guide and heard John saying that the CSL base should only be used with the standard CSL rim. Was planning to buy it for the PC with an F1 rim, but now he's in doubt. So is that something you can confirm?
Well, I mean, yeah, the key there is at the Xbox One Buyer's Guide. The F1 rim isn't compatible on the Xbox One. So if you're buying it for the Xbox One, you'd be in tough luck if you bought the F1 rim. Now, going to be doing the PC one, and also when I do this eventually, never, TSPC, CSL, CSW V2 video, I'll be using the Fnatic F1 rim because that's the most comparable rim. And spoiler, I do like that rim. Well, there's pros and cons on both. So no, if you're looking at picking up that rim for the PC, I wouldn't stop you at all. That is a much better rim than the P1 CSL for Xbox One, whatever it's called, rim. Which is kind of been one of my major complaints, and I still mentioned the Xbox One Buyer's Guide, that they need to have some more rims between $100 and $200. Sorry, been a little sickly. That is compatible on the Xbox One, because the wheelbase and those pedals, and then you get the rim, and it's kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
And rims matter. I mean, that's what you're touching. It matters. So hopefully that gets fixed. But yep, all for what you're planning on doing there.
Yes. And then next in line, Felix Ewer. Sorry. You guys should do a video on going back to sims that turned 10 to 12 years old and see how they aged, like NASCAR Racing 2003, GTR, GTR2, GT Legends, Race 07, and then he has a follow-up for me, GTR2 or Race 07. Well, I have one of those on the channel, and I have another one planned. So GTR2 is on the channel. I was actually very impressed with it. And then GT Legends is in my to-do list. I've only played a little bit of it, but I like that too. I would like to get my hands on NASCAR Racing 2003 because I never got to try that one. And I do have a copy of GTR and Race 07. So all I can say is I like GTR2 a lot.
You know, I really should put in NASCAR Racing 2003 and try to do a video on that. I got it. I used to race it a ton. I mean, that was kind of my first sim that I got in 2006. And I drove a ton of that. I will say, Race 07 I was not a fan of. Like, I love GTR2, got Race 07, and it kind of turned me off from.
Oh, really?
From Simbin. I feel like GTR2 was so awesome, and like Race 07 like went in the wrong direction for me. I just didn't care for the feel, the look, kind of. I don't know. Some people now look back fondly and still really like it, but that's kind of where I fell off the Simbin bus at Race 07, and then I feel like the bus then spun out, and now we're kind of back. I feel like getting on board with RaceRoom in its current form.
Yes.
When it first came out, I was still like, we are off the rails, Mayday. But I feel like RaceRoom, like a lot of sims these days, with ever evolving updates, has come a long way.
I agree. I really like RaceRoom. One of my top ones to put time into.
Oh, by the way, it's Martine for Martine Arts.
Oh, Martine. Duh. I don't know why I couldn't have figured that out.
Well, I was gonna say it, and then you started talking. I'm like, I think I can do the first name.
I was like, words are hard in reading. I mean, who wants to do that?
We're dumb. We'll just apologize. To lead off.
Right?
Let's see.
We're at Nicola. Is the
oh,
T300?
I'm sorry.
Did I miss it?
But no, I'm sorry. I'm reading chat. But Darren said GTR Evolution made up for a Race 07.
Ooh, I haven't tried that one either.
I can't remember if I did or not.
I have it because they had that one sale where you got like the whole freaking catalog of those things in a Steam sale for like $8 or something crazy.
That's right. Actually, no, I did. I passed up on GTR Evolution. I didn't get it because I didn't really. I don't know. I think at the time I was like, how's this different from what GTR 2 already does? But anyway, I think by that point I was already so deep running so much NASCAR Race 2003, and I was running a lot of R Factor 1. I was like, I'm covered. But anyway, Billy, what were you?
Just asking, the T300 worth the upgrade from the T150 if you already have a TH8A and a T3PA? I would say if you have the money. What about you?
Yeah, I mean the T300 is a nice step up from the T150. So at that point you're just buying the base. I know it's Xbox deal. The TX is about $200 for just the base, and I don't remember what the base is for the T300. But I don't think
it's
250.
It's like 250 or 299, 250. I just grabbed one for my brother for Christmas, and now I can't remember.
Okay, yeah,
250. Maybe it's 250.
Okay. No, I mean it's not a bad way to go. I mean, if you're already set up at that point, $250, I think it is a nice improvement. And also look out. I mean, like I showed the buyer's guide, the prices are all over the place.
Yeah.
So get the Caramelizer app if you use Google Chrome, which in my opinion you should. But that app, like I showed the graphs and all the buyer's guides, and that tracks everything. So you can see history, you can see where it's been. And at least, and then you also put alerts on there if it drops below a certain price. Like say if it drops below, you put it at 200, drops below $200 or whatever the equivalent, wherever you're at, then it'll let you know. So you don't have to constantly be stalking. It sends you an email. So
yeah,
but no, I think the T300 is a nice update or upgrade. So I'd say that's a good way to go. Where are we at?
Right where I put the space. Billy Z. Any news for Porsche at iRacing? John.
I've only seen
John.
What?
Just
I know
teasing you.
everyone's like, what insider information you know? I think right now, I think they're mostly done with the car. I think they're waiting on licensing. I think Steve Myers put something out on Twitter saying something kind of along those lines.
It's basically got to go through a check too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, all these manufacturers, they send iRacing goes and sends them a lot of a lot of high quality images, 3D, inside, outside, blah blah blah, and they go, okay, this all looks right.
Right.
Some manufacturers are tougher than others. There was one recently that took a while to get the okay from. It was probably Le Mans, because I know, yeah, because like they at the last minute. We wanted to do a preview of the build, and people were asking for it, but I wasn't able to get my hands on something that was allowed to be shown until like super late. Audi was also interesting when the R8 came out, because we did the Mercedes video like I don't know 3 weeks. I feel like 3 weeks before it was released in the new build, and then we wanted to do the Audi one, but they were waiting for a long time, and I guess the big holdup was they had to put. There was like some kind of like flute on the back of the car that you see below the right tail light. It's almost like an overfill spout or something. Or no, it's an air jack. That's what you put the air jack in. But you can really see it looks like a siphon off the back of the car, and they didn't have that in there, and they had to put that in there. So yeah, these things, they. I mean, we're only privy to it on iRacing because we try to do these preview looks. And they nicely work with us. But yeah, each manufacturer is a little different with that.
All got to get approved.
Yep. Facer, should I buy Thrustmaster T3PA or Thrustmaster T3PA Pro using T150? Right now, last I saw, they have a $20 difference. If you have a rig, I guess you might as well pick up the T3PA Pros. They're metal.
And you can invert.
You can invert them.
If you don't have the need to really invert or anything, the T3PAs work just fine.
Yeah, exactly. There's no difference in terms of like the pedals. It's still the same mechanism. You still got the elastomer conical brake mod on the back of the brake.
Yes, correct.
So yeah, if you have a rig and you want something more metallic, sure. If you don't have a rig, moving stuff around, I wouldn't get it because they're heavy. But they are close.
They are heavy. They're surprisingly heavy, actually. I have a set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want to take the next one?
So is that, you pronounce this Graham? Graham?
I pronounce it Graham.
I would say Graham.
Okay.
I apologize if it's not right. But which racing game has best career championship mode? Oh.
Say Billy, you would probably have a better idea of this since you like to play a lot of those.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for a career mode that you kind of scale, where you start out with a lower car and then you can kind of unlock other disciplines as you're going along? Or do you want something where you can actually make a custom championship mode where, like, say you're driving GT3 cars and then going from race to race, you can adjust the AI accordingly to your skill level at the track. You can adjust all the weather. I mean, really, gosh, that's a hard one because I want to say R Factor 2, but I don't think you can't. There's certain things I don't think you can adjust. Like I'm not totally sure if you can make a custom championship yet in R Factor 2, and only some of the official series have championships. You might be able to go in and create one, because I know I can do that in the original R Factor. I know how to go in and create my own championship.
Yeah.
RaceRoom doesn't have weather, but you can do a custom championship in that.
What about someone just said Project Cars? What do you think about that?
Project Cars is odd for me, just because I don't feel you're unlocking stuff, but I never feel an attachment to anything. So it's kind of frivolous in a way. Like I don't feel like I've done anything to really earn, because you can start wherever you want. If you want to start in a GT3 or their Formula A, I think is their top end Formula car. You can start there if you want to. So it's interesting. I like the idea of getting to run these one-off races, but the thing is if you skip one of those races, I don't believe you can go back to them. So if you open up like a classic Group 5 championship in between your other races and you don't race that first race, or if you skip the second one but race the first one, I don't think you can run any of the other races after that. So that's kind of an odd thing. It's a neat idea, though. I like the idea behind it. I think it just needs to be focused a little more.
You want to know what my answer is?
None of them.
No, it's even better.
Okay. Rats.
Forza Motorsport 6.
Interesting. Why do you like that?
Well, to be honest, it's probably one of the last careers that I've probably put a little time into, because normally you just hop around, do race here, race there, and I'm not really a huge career. That's why I kind of pointed more towards you, because I know you like to do a little more of the career type stuff than I do. I just think it's just well laid out. There's selection of cars and tracks and difficulties, and there's lots of things to do. So I know it's Simcade, but because it's Simcade, I think it almost works out better. I will say though, after reviewing F1 2016, I wish I had time to check out that career mode, because I feel like that
interesting concepts.
That has some cool elements, and it's very. I feel like it runs a really nice balance of not being crazy hard, but like being true to the sport with the race weekends and selections of tire compounds and strategies. And I mean, there's quite a few things you can do there. So I think I'm intrigued by that, and I wish I had time to go in depth there, because I think that could be pretty good.
Forza in number 4 would be my answer if you're going that way. I preferred the pick a car, and get to run that car in whatever series. You know, you had like these areas to, or was that Forza 5? Maybe it was 5. One of them, it's either 4 or 5. You picked a car and then it kind of tailored what you wanted. But you still I felt like there was an attachment to the car. Where Forza 6, I felt was like so freely just giving you stuff.
It does.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on, where are we? There it is. Martin Arts. I'm sorry. We went through this earlier. Just wondering, does Team Redline only focus on one sim, or do they run multiple? Thought they were the iRacing top sim team. I mean, they essentially are, if you look at the Road Racing World Championship, whatever they call it these days. Team Redline's always up there competing for that. Gregor Hutu's won 4 or 5 of those. I think they're predominantly iRacing, but I have seen them in the past on R Factor, especially when they were putting out videos with Max Verstappen. I feel like they had some R Factor 2 mixed in there. And then, of course, with the whole Vegas eRace, they jumped over to R Factor 2 to do that because, you know, if they had to go and jump over to Mario Kart, they would have probably done that and then probably lost because that's a whole nother thing. But
right.
But yeah, so but no, I mean predominantly they're on iRacing. But you know, if there's, especially these days with the way that team is, if there's places to go win money, I bet you'll find them there.
Yeah, real quick, back Spatial is talking about the career thing real quick. He just said, Forza is fine, but having to earn the cars after I bought the game is a pain. I agree, if that's what you're looking for. But I play other games beside, I play actual video games, so I like the idea of having a game with it. It keeps me invested. Otherwise, I do what I do now with all the sims. I just kind of jump in and out, which is fun. My dad loves the fact that in Project Cars, everything was unlocked.
Yeah.
He loved it. He loved to just jump in and play. And me, I liked it, but I don't feel I'm an old guy. I like that having a connection to the car too. I don't, I like having everything available. But if you're going to have a career, I prefer it to be that way. That
was I played back before I guess I went sim racing. I played a lot of Gran Turismo 4. And that was one thing in Gran Turismo 4, the way it's set up. You held on to a car for a long time.
Yes.
I felt like it really was like that was your car. And like I played, I went through a lot of that game, and I still feel like I was only at like 25%, whatever it is, because the career is like stupid long. At some point I had to like go to college.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like you held on to a car for a long time. And that was kind of cool. Even though I feel like sometimes I was kind of like, okay, I'm ready to move on. There's like a bazillion cars in this game, and here I am, tuning up my whatever I was driving back then.
And I can understand that perspective. And I liked, when you could win a car and like it was a rare car, like you couldn't normally buy that. I don't know. It added like what we talk about with online racing, where especially team racing, it gives you that intensity. Like I felt that way because I wanted that car. I knew the car that I wanted to get. I don't know. I looked at it a little different.
Apparently, the dog is clearly audible when listening with headphones. I mean, she's sleeping right now and breathing deeply. Probably last week I'll have her on my lap. The girls aren't the girls aren't here. And I'm like, I'll give it a try.
Right.
Just the mic's too good.
Right.
Wait, real quick before we back into questions, I do want to throw this screen back up again. Again, reminder, if you came in late, we are running an iRacing hosted session at the bottom of the hour, preparing for the Daytona 24-hour race this weekend. 30-minute practice, 10-minute qualifying, 40-minute race. There's the session and password info. Come on out and race, and don't wreck me.
Well, now I've got a target for you. Let's see. Next question. Alon, what's your opinion on driving wearing socks versus regular shoes?
It depends on my pedals.
Yep.
When I only wear shoes because it helps me. I know we kind of became the catalyst for it. I always driven it in bare feet or socks with the G27 and then the T300 and T3PA pedals. Then I went over to Darren's rig and he had the Fanatics in there. What do you have in there? It might have been something else, but anyway, it hurt my foot. Oh no, he had the V3s in there originally before I had a set, and it had the tilt and brake pads on there, and it has that groove in it. And with socks, they hurt like hell. So I was like, I need to get some shoes. And then, of course, I got a set of V3s. And, I wear these racing shoes because I need it for how heavy the brake is. But if I go and jump on T3PAs, I take the shoes off. Even though I will say in the T300 GT Edition video, I had the shoes on because I think it looks better than seeing my socks. Okay.
Oh, people want to see your socks. I wear socks unless I'm using pedals that are stiff. When I use stiff pedals, I use driving shoes. So like the Rick Motec said I have to use shoes because using the brake, not so much the throttle pedal, but using the brake on that thing, you need a pair. You need a shoe.
You have to. Now I think, and I don't know if you meant, I think you said like regular shoes. I don't know if I could use like tennis shoes.
No, I couldn't use. Yeah, no.
You really need like
Too
that
thick.
very thin, sole. Yeah, exactly. Racing 393. When is the Fanatic Shifter review coming? I don't know. That's coming maybe in February, probably more like March. One of these times. Dude, I mean, yeah, I apologize for that, but the good thing, at least for Fanatic standpoint, I've been reviewing other products of theirs.
Right.
And the shifter isn't exactly like the newest thing. It's been around for a while, but wanted to try out the 1.5 version because we had the original. So sometime.
Peter, any hint of P-Cars 2 beta releases like the last one? I have no idea. All I've heard is that what everybody else has heard about, that it's possibly coming out in September, and that it's going through like a ton of Q&A right now. Q&A.
Q&A?
QA. Q&A. Quality and assurance.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure everyone would love to hear some Q&A and pick and hear what's going on with that.
Right.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. Let's see. Back to Racing 393. What is wrong with the P1 rim, John? I use it and it seems okay. How do you compare it to a better product? It's okay is definitely, I mean, we gave it a fairly decent review back when we reviewed it, and I think hopefully I mentioned in one of the videos, it's one of those rims where it's those products where the more I use it, the less I like it. But like, it's not bad. It's just that there's better out there. It's got the hard rubber, and and the flappy paddles don't really click. And they work. They don't. It's not like it doesn't work. So I just feel like the 599 rim over from Thrustmaster is a lot better. I like even using the Thrustmaster Formula rim more, even though it's fairly plasticky, but I like using it more. And then all the other Fanatic rims are a fair amount nicer. So I mean, it's clear that they're going for a price point on it. It gets the job done. I mean, keep on rocking on with it. It's not bad. I just think there's better out there.
Yep. I couldn't tell you because I haven't touched it, so I don't know. Crisis 2K10. Own a T500 RS, want to get the 599 Evo Alcantara. My question is, does the rim really make a large difference and feel better? And do you really need gloves to protect the wrap? I'm assuming he's talking about the Alcantara on the 599.
I don't know. What you have the 599, right, Billy? Yeah, you do.
Yes.
What do you think? I
prefer a larger wheel, just in general, and I think isn't it bigger than the one that comes standard with the T500?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure the T500 standard wheel is 28 centimeters versus 30 for the Alcantara. Pretty sure.
Okay. I just prefer a little larger rim, especially when I'm running either some of the old, like I like to drive the older cars. And I found that combined with the correct degrees of rotation really makes a difference in how the cars drive for me. And I think it's just a good all-around middle of the road rim. Like it's not so small. Like I swear, I go back to the other one. That what is it? The 28.
Yeah.
I just tried the TM28 for the heck of it, and unless you're driving like maybe a Formula car or something, it can be too quick. You have a little more leverage with a larger wheel, and yes, I would recommend you need to wear gloves to protect the Alcantara. You don't have to, but it does make it last longer, in my opinion.
The rim I got here, we've used a fair amount without gloves, and I feel like it's held up better than I thought. And then I've said that, and someone else come in chat, and they're like, "I've used mine, and it's like, it's super shiny." So I don't know. It probably depends on people sweating and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I do think it holds up better than most Alcantara. Gloves would be best. If you don't mind it getting a little used up, you don't have to.
And they do make a cleaner. They do make a cleaner, which will help prolong the life of it as well. Spatial says they are the same between the 500 and the 599.
The dimension?
Yes. Yes. Sorry.
Darren said it's 28 and 30.
I don't know.
I would have to look it up. Just Google it. It's out there. I don't remember.
All I can say is I like the 599 a lot. I think it's a really good all around wheel. Last couple here.
Yep.
So you guys can get to driving. Visual 1677. Do either of you use any telemetry programs for all at iRacing? If so, what are they? Or what's your favorite one?
I mean, I've sampled. I've run Z1 Dashboard, and Z1 Dashboard's very good. I at this point, stop making noises. At this point, I just haven't. I really wanted to use it running on my cell phone. So I like putting the cell phone on the rim, and then I was thinking about getting a tablet, and this and that. I think I might go back. I have the Z1 Dashboard. I need to get that mounted again, because I used to have that on when I was on my Abuto rig, and I like Z1 a lot. And then I've used just a free app on my phone to get telemetry that I've attached to my wheel. The Fast Dash app, I believe. It's been so long now. So there's a lot of things out there. But yeah, Z1's very good. And then another one that's pretty popular is guys who are at iRace for Life. I'm drawing a blank. There's another one. Go ahead.
I
analyze.
iRacing.
There you go. Analyze.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Okay.
There you go. I don't do a whole lot of iRacing as of right now, so I just use whatever it has. I am getting from Ricmotech. I am getting a dash, little LED deal that goes in the back in between the opening of the 599, just so I don't have to like move stuff around and look for what gear I'm in and RPM and all that there, and it's gonna work it's supposed to work with a bunch of different titles. So I will try that.
When you get in that?
Next couple of weeks or so.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that before. It looks really slick. So
yeah, it looks
cool.
neat. So
that'd be cool to see. I think we answered the question. Oh, telemetry. That's right. I was like, we were talking about telemetry. We were talking about dashes. Where did we get there? Tim C Q&A. Tim C Q&A. I have the T3PA pedals currently, but I'm looking for something a bit better. However, I don't have a rig and can't hard mount. Can you recommend a pedal set? Are these the best I'll get without hard mounts?
What are you running? Are you running console or PC?
Yeah, I mean, how do you need it? Do you need the ability to pick up and move? I don't know of any load cell brake that you could just push against the wall, which is kind of what I did before I had a rig, with the old Momo Blacks and even the Logitech G27s for a little while there. So I would say you can't upgrade, but I mean, I don't know how hard it would be to get a piece of wood and attach. There's probably some DIY ways to rig that up.
If you're on a console, you really don't have any other choice because you have to plug into the wheelbase. So If you're on a PC, then you have options.
Well, yes. In terms of that, yes. Which, by the way, I mentioned earlier about that video from yesterday, the Sim Racing Explained. There'll be another one eventually talking about those input devices and compatibility, because we get that question all the time. So pretty soon, check this link.
My Ricmotech set actually plugs into my wheelbase, my Thrustmaster wheelbase. But I think I got the last version of that. Frank doesn't really do that anymore. Somebody might be able to bug him again, and he might, because it's a different program in the box. So yeah.
Gotcha.
And I think you want to call it there.
Well, we can do this last one.
You want to do that? Okay.
Gabbersaurus, what's your opinion on esports? Will it benefit the sim racing community? You first.
Oh boy.
Hey, you first, and we got 10 minutes for the session, so I'm going to give you 5.
Okay. Real quick, I don't know how much more beneficial esports is going to be. I think it's a great idea, but in theory, iRacing has been doing esports for, how long, since 07, is that right?
It came out in 08, but...
08, okay.
The tag now, the original racing esport.
Right, so they've been doing esports for that long. You know, it might gain a little more traction. I don't know how much bigger it's going to get. Once again, I kind of equated it real quick last time to the difference between this and like a Dota 2 or something that's rooted in pure fantasy. None of that you can do in real life. There is a larger appeal to that, where sim racing is unique in the fact that we are taking something that is going on in the real world and then using those things. It's fantasy to us because we'll never get to drive it, but I don't know that there is a broader appeal. You can make an argument for, I know they've been trying to push some of the shooters like Call of Duty and stuff for esports. Again, I think that's a little more fantastical than what we do, because sim racing is supposed to be about the realism of what you're using. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I totally agree with. I mean that's my answer too. The most popular esports are things that cannot be done in real life. And even though you say the shooters, well, people don't go running around like they do. moving all over the place in real life like you do, and no one has that stamina to go running all over the place. So yeah, that's kind of again, like you said, a fantasy type thing. But yeah, I mean, look, what's the most popular probably game out there with cars? It's what's it? Rocket League.
Oh yeah,
because it's a fantasy type thing, something like that. And, I see why that'd be really popular and fun, kind of fun to watch and stuff like that. Watching sim racing is like watching real racing, and as we know, real racing isn't doing the best, I feel like, viewership wise. So.
Well, and also you're in a sense splitting your audience, right? I mean, you have those that watch racing in real life, televised or in person, and you're trying to get that community over.
Yeah.
And that's a really hard bridge to gap.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? I don't care. But you're trying to pull them over, and I don't know how well that will ever work, because I think you're still going to have a stigma of, I mean, it is a game, it is a video game, but to us it's not a video game in the terms we think of. It's a simulation. And I think those outside, even when you want to show somebody, oh yeah, that's really cool, and they just kind of keep going.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do hope it grows, and I think a little more being on the inside. I think
it would be great.
I think the coolest part is that it gives some really great exposure to sim racers. I mean, the whole Vegas thing, if anything, some guys got to, really be, their skills got put out there on a stage. Like, these are special people. So I think that's really, really neat.
I agree. I hope it. No, I agree. I hope it keeps going. I hope it grows. I just don't know how much it's going to.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So, with that, I think for the most part, we'll leave it there. Again, one more time in another 7 or so minutes. Where is this at? I got the iRacing session going up. Keep it pretty short, 30-minute practice, 10-minute qualifying, 40-minute race, so people can get to bed or get to making dinner or whatever is going on. Hopefully, I'll be able to chat with you guys there. My PCs. Another video is going to be pros and cons of PCs versus console racing here very soon. Because, yesterday, for some reason, my headset didn't work yesterday. I got like a Logitech G930, I think it is. Normally a great headset. It's coming up as like disconnected or whatever on iRacing, so I don't know why. It was like that earlier today, so there's a fair chance I'll be able to hear you and not be able to talk back. But maybe I'll get that fixed up in the practice session. And
that's perfect. Then we can start all the insults that we need, and
say
you will never be able to fight back.
And you know what? Thanks to the latest iRacing update, I'm gonna record it.
Right? I just saw that.
I'm gonna turn you in.
All right.
So, yeah. As always, I'm John Sable. Who are you again?
Bob.
That's Bob.
Yeah.
In the revolving second chair.
Bob the Builder.
Thanks for watching this week Inside Sim Racing live show. See you guys next week or at the track.
All right, thanks guys.